Greetings. Welcome. Everybody come on into the lobby. We're going to get started here in just a couple minutes. Make sure you check in. Let me know where you are viewing from. Thank you. You see, when you check in, that's when I start the show. Just to let you know, chat. All right. When you actually check in something, that's when I start. I see that you're in here, but chime in. We're going to get this going. Don't be scared. Because if I say something to the chat and then the chat doesn't return, I'll just shut this the fuck off and I'll come back on later. Like, I don't care. Hello. This is how I tell like how many trolls are in here. Everybody wants to watch me as a troll today. Oh, I like this. This will be much more fun. And you're going to be quiet? All right. Let's go.
The truth set you free.
Fucking leave me on read, motherfuckers. Hell no. I'll go back to bed. Let's go. Well, there you go, Kelly. Welcome. You got it. We like that.
Age of universal deceit. Telling the truth is a revolutionary act.
Greetings. Yes, this is another stellar episode of TVM Report. This is part 6 of Tim Ballard, Operation Underground Railroad Exposed. Man, this is getting deeper and deeper. All kinds of stuff going on. Very excited for this one today. But we're going to get into going to get into some of the operations and productions. So greetings, everybody. Welcome. So glad to have you here today. I really do appreciate you being here. Welcome to another episode of TVM Report, part 6. Tim Ballard, Underground Railroad. You know, this is the stuff that nobody wants to hear about. Okay, these are the biscuits that nobody wants to choke down. But you have to do it sometimes in life. You have to be honest with yourself, and what part of being honest with yourself is looking at the information. Even if you have been following something for quite a while, and you have put your faith, you have put your energy, your time, your passion, anything that matters to you that you have put into some of these movements, some of these organizations, one must always think critically, especially when one is handling the copious amounts of cash. All right. that are going on here. 1 through 5 these are all live. So if you are here now, that's it. I will be releasing these in the series at some point down the road, but for right now, these are just going live. And then these are what you call a 101 at a one and done. But I will be bringing them out in the series later. Great question. Thank you. So we're going to continue on. Once again, welcome from the Pineapple to the Big Apple, from Maine to Spain, wherever you are in the world. We love to have you right here on the Veritas Machine, live on Twitch and Twitter. Make sure the best way for you to support this page is to like, share, and blah, blah, blah. All that fun stuff. However, if you do want to take that a step further, all right, we're working here. So if you want to leave a tip, you could go to the PayPal. You can go to the Cash App, but on the Patreon right here, we do some series on there, some Illuminati Bloodline series, which are really a lot of fun, very informative. Some things you can get to know about the world that you perhaps did not see before. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube and hit the notification buttons on all of them and on Instagram. All right, now that has been said and done, we can move on with the juice. The juice. We are going on into the embracing of Mormon radicalism. All right. And we're going to fire away with this. Here we
Dynamic duo.
So this
There's
is
GOP right-wingers, Trump supporters, anti-maskers, get-rich-quick schemers, gun nuts, preppers, survivalists, fringe Mormon doctrine believers, and QAnon-like pedophile conspiracy theorists. But before I take a look at the Mormon extremism aspect, this news update. On August 27th, I was the first to report that the Davis County attorney received a complaint, a request for a criminal investigation into how O.U.R solicits donations. Since then, Davis County Attorney Troy Rawlings has signaled a criminal investigation, in fact, may have begun. Rawlings posted several Instagram messages. One points out his office has its own child sex crimes unit. Another warns about donation solicitors who falsely claim credit for arrests they did not make. Rawlings included an online video that shows his office's wall of shame. It shows targets of his investigations, which apparently include sex crimes arrests made without any help from private anti-trafficking groups. On Instagram, Rawlings admonishes everyone to investigate before donating. Get details before parting with your cash, he wrote. He also references Utah's communications fraud law. I made reference to that law in my first op-ed. It makes it illegal for anyone to devise a scheme to defraud another or to obtain from another money or anything of value by means of false or fraudulent pretenses, representations, promises, or material omissions. O.U.R's fastest growing claim, combined with other false claims and other material omissions about child sex trafficking, could subject Ballard and others to criminal prosecution. A former O.U.R insider, whose name I'm withholding, provides damaging testimony. He or she calls Ballard the very best liar I have come across. Whatever brings in more donors, morals and ethics go out the window. Tim has Sean Reyes in his back pocket. O.U.R has never documented its claims that child sex trafficking is the fastest growing criminal enterprise and that there are 2 million child sex slaves worldwide, among other claims. O.U.R fundraisers continually fail to disclose facts that could cause people pause before donating money or volunteering services.
This is the fastest growing criminal enterprise on the planet.
Right now, human trafficking is the fastest growing criminal enterprise internationally. It is the second most lucrative. It's already leapfrogged arms dealing and counterfeiting. It trails only drug trafficking. And in reality, we don't know. It may have already surpassed that.
Rawlings, again on Instagram, warns about affinity fraud and tearful donation appeals. He writes, just because someone claims they are called of God when asking for your money does not necessarily mean they actually are.
This is what I've been talking about in a lot of these different scenarios. Affinity fraud. All right. Affinity fraud is basically using the church essentially to manipulate donations. Hey, how's everybody doing? Hey, doing? How's everybody doing? I hope you guys are liking and sharing this. Yeah.
Suggest people question tearful appeals and guard against affinity fraud. Details do not mean simply listening to a sob story, even if the con invokes religion.
There you go.
Is it a coincidence? Tim Ballard's fundraising approach includes crying and invoking religion. This is from his website.
This is, to me, the biggest part of the grift. All right. Now, let me explain. The biggest part of the grift and them taking the money and getting you to hand over your money is the religious part. All right. The religious part to me is what manipulates you. It is a psychological fail-safe, if you will, into your mind, because you are conditioned to not question people like this, right? These are people that you don't question. But let me tell you something. What's the difference between this guy and Jim, whatever his name is, Jim, who's the guy with the wife, Tammy Faye, Jim Baker? What's the difference between this guy and Jim Baker? Can somebody answer that question to me? What's the difference? You know, Jim Baker ended up in federal prison for doing very, very much what is being described here. These people should go to jail if they are doing this, if they're manipulating people. What's happening? Let's find out.
This is one of 3 great quotes on his website. And I'm just holding this kid thinking, what am I going to do? And I start crying like a baby. I'm just holding this kid and I'm just crying. So Ballard and his wife went to the temple for guidance. The next morning, in what Ballard describes as a spiritual download, he received a clear and undeniable answer: find the lost children. We pray constantly, he says. We pray for protection.
You did hear the term spiritual download. Just to familiarize yourself with that term, okay? Spiritual download. You are going to hear that more than once. And you are going to hear it from other influencers who have watched this. Listen to some of the terms that you hear used by O.U.R. and listen to the parroting that happens when you hear these so-called influencers speak and repeat what they hear. Like a parrot. For those in the cheap seats.
We pray for guidance to find the children, to find the honest government officials in other countries.
Because what wouldn't you do for your kid?
See, that is all this footage here. This is the part that really just sort of grinds my gears.
We pray for guidance to find the children, to find the honest government officials in other countries.
Because what wouldn't you do for your kid?
Here it comes, the waterworks.
And in that case, it's not a surprise that
No. No. Okay? No.
2 of those kids that we rescued actually literally became my kids.
Finally, on Instagram, Rawlings warns that any pressure to keep witnesses quiet could be criminal witness tampering. He cautions against using threats or non-disclosure agreements to silence people. He cites the Utah Code And then at the end, he said, "You'll be hearing more from our office about this in the relatively near future." Regarding O.U.R donors who live in Davis County, O.U.R has held a lot of fundraisers in Davis County. Davis County donors who believe they were misled could contact the county attorney's office at 801-451-4300 or email investigations chief Craig Webb at this address.
Now, I want you to get a good look at this. Okay. I want you to get a good look at this because if you're in the state of Utah, or if you're not in the state of Utah, no matter where you are in the world, if you have donated, okay, to this organization, I need you to email Craig Webb and tell them your story so that they can at least get to the bottom of what has happened. Okay? I don't want to railroad this man. I want to find out the truth. And if he has done something inappropriate with the money and he has broken the law, all right, because I'm not in law enforcement. Right? I don't know the lengths of this investigation, but I know that it is official. And these are some of the facts surrounding it. These are all very disturbing facts. This is undeniable. You have to look at this differently now.
Okay,
Or you're
now
just
to
a
the main
dum-dum.
purpose of this
Don't be a dum-dum.
op-ed, some of the key people who are in the O.U.R orbit: Glenn Beck, Paul Hutchinson, Eric Moutsos, Burgess Owens, Kahia Kamahu, and Russell Brunson.
I don't know who Kahia Kamahu is, but I feel like he probably makes a wonderful Pokeball. I just feel like he just knows where to get the fresh stuff. He knows how to put it together. He might even make his own ponzu sauce, which sounds really delicious. Who's hungry?
I'll start with Kahia Kamahu.
There we go.
He's seen here with Sean Reyes in an Open Up Utah event. He's a University of Utah business technology graduate. He claims to have a PhD. In 2012, he took out bankruptcy, but he bounced back. He's now a multimillionaire. He's also a motivational speaker. He's CEO of Hawaii-based ROI companies dealing in petroleum, real estate, and small business ventures. He's one of Ballard's O.U.R operatives, that is, a strike force team member.
Okay, so now, when I look at this, I think to myself, all right, this is something I think. I feel like if someone's taking money from the public and they do have any bankruptcies, they should disclose that. They should disclose bankruptcies if they are taking money from the public. They should disclose where all the funds are going. Why is he filing a bankruptcy and now working with, Reyes and all these other people with this organization? This is sus. Okay.
3,000 times Edison failed, but he only needed one time for it to work. I made my first million by the time I was 25 years old. And then 2008 hit, and I hit that crash, back down to zero. I had to rebuild my entire company. Failed.
I've been there.
Failed over and over.
I have been there for sure.
I worked my ass off, but it was my failures that made me successful.
That's exactly right. And you know what? I'm going to agree with very little in this video, except what this guy just said. Is this the Kamehameha dude? Is this the guy? This is the Hawaiian dude with the Pokeball? Is this the same guy? He looks a lot taller here than he did in the other picture. Yeah, you're right. But then you don't bilk people of millions and millions of dollars. Just saying.
We're now 10 times what I was before. And it was all because of the success in overcoming failures and obstacles. So I challenge you, fail often and fail forward. Boom.
One of Kamau's products is a coronavirus-fighting nasal screen. It purportedly reduces disease pathogens.
Oh,
They claim
really?
it's better than homemade masks.
Now, as you all know, I like to just look at pieces of these and then go and see a lot of it fresh, so I could just do fresh commentary on it and have a fresh energy on it. This part I did not see. It doesn't surprise me.
We're surrounded by viruses, it says, and up to 99% effective. Those are claims an attorney general should investigate. Kamau hangs out with O.U.R movie star Jim Caviezel. There they are in Hawaii. Caviezel starred in A Thin Red Line, The Passion of Christ, and he stars in the upcoming movie Sound of Freedom. And there he is with the man he portrays in that film. Kamau partners with Paul Hutchinson, who I'll talk more about in a minute. They both claim to have PhDs. They have a joint Hawaiian coconut energy drink venture. It's a coconut powder drink mix, and they donate a portion of sales to fighting child trafficking. Next is Paul Hutchinson, shown here on the cover of Investor magazine. He's a multi-millionaire Mormon, associates with lots of other millionaires, including Mitt Romney. Here he's shown with other big O.U.R players, including success coach Tony Robbins, who I do not profile in this op-ed. Hutchinson was with the Bridge Investment Group that had a $13.5 billion fund that it managed. He was a Sean Reyes campaign chairman, an O.U.R operative, founder of the Children Liberation Foundation. Kamau partners with Paul Hutchinson. We're surrounded by viruses, it says, and up to 99% effective. Those are claims an attorney general should investigate. Kamau hangs out with O.U.R movie star Jim Caviezel. There they are in Hawaii. Caviezel starred in A Thin Red Line, The Passion of Christ, and he stars in the upcoming movie Sound of Freedom.
Yeah, I know. I'm sitting there cursing my
And there he is
freaking
with the
head off
man
at myself
he portrays in that film.
because I just did a little
Kamau
curse run because of missing. I can't effing believe that I effing missed that. Just put my head down a little bit for a second. That seems like a very important detail. Thanks, Jay. Oh, I was looking down and my God, he did what? He did the thing. He did the thing. He's right next to Jim, and Jim was oh my God.
Partners with Paul Hutchinson,
Okay.
who I'll talk more about in a minute. They both claim to have PhDs. They have a joint Hawaiian coconut energy drink venture.
Play a hater degree.
It's a coconut powder drink mix.
Oh, that
and
sounds
they
tasty.
donate a portion of sales to fighting child trafficking.
Oh, really?
Next,
Really? By giving to Operation Underground Railroad?
next is Paul Hutchinson, shown here on the cover of Investor magazine. He's a multi-millionaire Mormon, associates with lots of other millionaires.
I feel like my ninja instruction had something to do with you seeing that, though, Jay. So I just want to double, I got to circle back on that. Good eye. Good eye. Yes. Yes. Yes, get them. I did that on purpose. I was looking down on purpose to see which one of you would see it. Well, Jay passed. All the rest of you failed. You're all horrible, miserable failures. Jay passes. She gets the lollipop and the gold star, and all the rest of you are miserable. You're horrible and terrible. You're the worst students ever. How dare you miss that? I did that intentionally. Man.
Including Mitt Romney. Here he's shown with other big O.U.R. players, including success coach Tony Robbins, who I do not profile in this op-ed.
But he does profile.
He
does profile in part 5. Okay.
Bridge investment
Thank you very
group
much.
That had a $13.5 billion fund that it managed. He was a Sean Reyes campaign chairman.
You did hear that,
O.U.R.
right?
operative.
Now look at that. Look at that little number up there. $13.5 billion fund that he managed. He was an O.U.R. operative. Bridge investment group.
Founder of the Children Liberation Foundation and a dyed-in-the-wool survivalist prepper. Hutchinson, as a prepper, has a massive stockpile of food, weapons, ammunition, and military-style armored vehicles.
Sweet.
He once bragged, they had a TV series years ago called Doomsday Preppers. I would have won that show.
You know, they have a TV series out years ago that was called Doomsday Preppers.
Okay.
I would have.
What else do you notice in here? What else do you guys see? Do you see what I see? The floor, the checkered mason floor, and tin floor some more, and then the floor, the checkerboard.
Won that show, but I don't tell everybody that's what I had at the time. But
Hutchinson is more than a millionaire. He's also well connected to the rich and famous. He knows dozens of millionaires and is skilled at getting them to not only invest in his company, but also to donate to O.U.R.
He is what you call basically a bagman. You know, bagman, like a mafia. He collects the money. He's the money guy. He's the bagman. He's gonna get the bag for you. He's the bag guy. Catching that bag.
He networks by throwing celebrity-studded parties.
Is how you network. You throw really cool parties and invite a whole bunch of guys that you already know who are rock stars and guys you want to know who are rock stars, and then you tell these other rock stars, hey, these rock stars are coming and we're doing something really cool.
While on an O.U.R. mission about 4 years ago, was accused of fondling a purported child sex slave. The incident was caught on camera. O.U.R. won't release the video. Hutchinson denies the charge.
Oops.
And he says the purported child sex slave was later determined to be 18 or older.
That doesn't matter.
I interviewed Hutchinson and he described the incident. It was at a club and the manager raised the dress. There was nothing ever that was touched inappropriately. There was a trafficker there next to me and actually lifted up my hand. If I had pulled back right there, my life would have been in danger, no doubt about it. I caressed the side of her arm at the time. Any undercover CIA agent anywhere would have known that if I pulled back and said, oh no, then we would have been in serious danger for our lives.
CIA, huh?
My source told me about Hutchinson and the touching incident. Hutchinson is a guy who brings a lot of money into O.U.R. The incident was recorded on camera. Ballard told my source, don't show anyone. A trafficker lifted up the girl's shirt and he touched her breast. O.U.R. claims she was not a minor. There was another incident. Hutchinson touched a girl's face and kissed her hand. Ballard ordered the scene cut.
Of course he did.
Tim is
I mean-
terrified the touching incident will come out. Sean Reyes thinks Tim walks on water.
Oh, Tim is terrified. You know, try to look at this stuff objectively, and I see so much of it. You know, I see so much of this dark, thieving bullshit, and I catch so much of the flack of it. But if you don't ask questions, if you don't look at these people, then where are you? Then you can't be. If you don't question these people, then you're not a leader. You can't be trusted to lead anything. You can't be trusted to tie your own fucking shoelaces if you don't look into people like this. They must be looked into. They have too much adoration, too much affinity, too much responsibility. It must be checked. There must be accountability for people who say they take money to fucking rescue the children. Okay? There needs to be accountability. If you don't see accountability, then there's something wrong. All right? Then there's something wrong. Okay? You have to understand that. Thank you.
Here are some other Hutchinson disclosures: that he had bouts with pornography, even what he said, barely legal sites. What he meant was not quite child porn sites.
Okay, we all know what barely legal means. But this is the guy who is with the child rescue guy. Barely legal. Barely legal, but no, he didn't touch the kid. He didn't touch the girl. But the girl was barely legal. Am I right? Hey, Paulie, I'm talking to you. I asked you a question. The girl's barely legal, right? And she was, regardless of her age, involved in some kind of crazy shit where some bad shit happened to her. And there's a report that you touched her? There's an allegation of that? My guy. My guy. Come on, man. Oh my God, there's 17 people in here. Is Q in here? Oh, seriously? Is he in here? We're going to get into that another time.
Discussed his porn problem with Tim Ballard and Sean
That's going to be one of
Reyes.
my next episodes.
He said, not that everybody that looks at pornography is addicted, and not that everybody who is addicted ends up being a child pedophile. But every single person that we've arrested, every single one of them started out with an addiction to pornography.
Oops. Yeah, here's the guy who did the movie. Sound of Freedom, right? Sound of Freedom. Yeah, everybody really liked that one because everybody just jumped on the dick of this freaking idea because they thought it was a good thing to do. And all of this pressure and all of this pain and all of this fear and terror that people have been experiencing was exploited through not only religion, but through manipulating you through, well, your faith and through children. Okay. And I have news for you. Anybody who's in here that is in doubt of what I'm saying, every single time that I have called somebody out, okay, 100% correct. There's a little phrase en español. Es sin falta. Sin falta, ¿ok? ¿Tú me entiendes? Cuando yo digo sin falta, porque quiero decir sin falta. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Ah. ¿Tú no conoces que yo hablo español? ¿Tú me entiendes cuando yo hablo español? Okay? Next week's lesson's in Italian, but sin falta means without fail. Sin falta. I've not been wrong yet. Verdad. Es la verdad. Soy el maquinero la verdad en español.
He said, when I go on the O.U.R trips, I feel the Spirit of the Lord 100% with me, directing me, speaking to me every single step of the way.
Now,
Hutchinson,
look. Do I believe that people can rehabilitate themselves? Yes. Do I believe that people with it? Look, I had drug problems. Okay. I should not be working in a pharmacy. You know, like I shouldn't be working in a pharmacy. Somebody who has had a problem with barely legal porn should not be, or allegedly had stuff with barely legal porn sites, should not be working with kids. That's all. I mean, that's all. You know, look, do I believe that this guy could possibly be? He doesn't have any actual of the underage charges on him or anything. Okay, well, you know, barely legal, but it's barely legal, but it is still technically it's legal. Okay, but should this guy be involved with kids? No, let him go work in a fucking casino. You know what I mean? Let this guy go let this guy go run a casino or well, maybe not a casino. Maybe that's a bad idea. Like what else can you do in Utah? You know, what do you do in Utah? You know, you work for Vitamix. All right, go sell some blenders, my guy. Shit. Come on. Where's my button? Oh, there it is.
been accused of fondling a female rescue worker while on a mission. He declines comment.
Oh, this guy just can't keep his hands on himself.
Now I'll talk about Eric Moutsos. He's one of Utah's leading, if not the leading, anti-masker. He organized Utah's biggest anti-mask rally and concert. It was originally scheduled for May 30th in Davis County. Kaysville Mayor Katie
Victor Marks, in my opinion, is the only one who actually shows what he's doing. He actually shows you. He shows you the rehabilitation. He shows how one of the women that they rescued apparently works with the organization now. He shows working down the border. He's got footage. He's got tactical guys that work for him too. I mean, look, he's also not operating out of Utah. He does have his own ministry. But you know, as far as what I can see, Victor Marks is on the up and up. You know, and that's the one organization of this type that I do support currently. And look, as much as I like Victor, as much as I support Victor, that can change in a freaking heartbeat, depending on, you know, what is reported or heard, or, you know what I mean? But I think, you know, I've seen Victor move, and from what I've seen from Victor and his moves, he's legit.
Witt's approval was rescinded by the city council. Then the concert venue was moved to Grantsville. A Tooele County judge disallowed it.
But he also understands that he is under scrutiny, and he has to operate as if he is under scrutiny, and he does. So, look. You know, anybody could be fooling anybody, and I always have to have that little bit of doubt, so that I have to have that doubt so that I can have faith, so that I could temper my faith, that I could monitor my faith, that I do not go overboard in faith extremism and believe something too much. Because look what happens if you believe something too much. Look at all the people that have gone absolutely batshit crazy on me because I questioned this. This isn't even my research. I'm doing a commentary. Okay? Let me tell you some of my research stuff, but a lot of my heavy research days are over, friends. Okay? I'm a veteran. A lot of it I've already seen. Look, I've been watching these YouTube videos since the 90s, my guy. Early 90s. Mid 90s. I forget when YouTube started, but exactly. Transparency and accountability are essential for credibility and integrity. And you guys, with your generosity, tips, and support on my channels, purchase this microphone for me. Like I let people know. I mean, back if it was like maybe a year and a half ago, you probably would have been buying me a nice big old 8-ball, if you know what I'm talking about. But I don't do that anymore, and I never liked it. Okay, I never really did it. I just liked the way it smelled, and it was a big misunderstanding. And no, I didn't have to suck anything.
His business revival concert was finally held at Cedar City on June 13th. The keynote speaker and rapper was Sean Reyes. He said predators are exploiting COVID to victimize Utahns, and my AG team and I are on watch.
Oh, by the way, the keynote speaker and rapper Sean Reyes, Attorney General.
Tracking and taking them down, whether they are human traffickers, drug cartels, child pornographers, or other abusers. Here are a few lines out of Reyes's Cedar City rap. Hunting predators, I'm a dragon slayer, making believers out of all them haters. As I chase down in my town, criminals like a bloodhound till they're found, even underground.
Shit.
Don't mess around in my town. I'll take you down.
Yeah. Yo, get them bars, boy. Get them bars, son.
Who is Eric Moutsos? He's a former Salt Lake City police officer and a devout Mormon. About the Book of Mormon and Jesus, he said, I knew it was true. Times where I feel so close to Christ, I can almost audibly hear his voice. He called on the Mormon Church to divest itself of KSL television and the Deseret News, and if not, they will be reduced to ashes after the Savior comes to burn Babylon to hell. He recently attended his LDS church service. He said, I thought our family would be the only ones maskless. Nope. To my surprise, about 3/4 of the congregation did not have masks on. It was a beautiful sight, old and young. Here's Moutsos' latest call to protest. He said our children should be the focal point of an October 31st protest from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The right to assemble and gather. Allow them to roam and loot for candy. It will be called Halloween. It's okay to wear this type of mask. He said we're seeing the effects of God's wrath. He said the California fires broke out about a week after the state decided to change the law to give more freedom to pedophiles. And about Utah's severe windstorm, yes, I believe God had something to do with over 3,000 trees ripping out and crashing down in Salt Lake County. Moutsos predicts a doomsday with everyone being physically forced to defend themselves and their families, and it may not be against foreign invaders. Sadly, it will most likely be by the very government the apathetic people allowed to grow into what it is today. He said, can someone logically explain to me how we don't enter into a full-on civil war at this point? I believe it's inevitable. But this is what happens when an entire society reaps the benefits of freedoms they didn't fight for. And he posted this on his site. The only reason why the government would want to disarm you after 243 years is because they intend to do something that you would shoot them for. Moutsos gave Tim Ballard top billing at a July 22nd business revival event at Washington City, Utah. Masks not required. Here you see Ballard and Moutsos with heavyweight boxing champion Evander Holyfield. Moutsos said, Tim Ballard spoke about Operation Underground Railroad, and in my opinion, he's a true hero.
Did he have to speak a little louder near Evander? His ear? Did he have to speak like a little? It's just a joke. It's parody. Seriously. You wearing the mask. Yes, you wearing the mask. Yes, wearing the mask. Yes, delicious. Crispy with the raisins. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You know, like if you really just want to do a Mike Tyson impression, just say a bunch of cereal names. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Raisin Bran. Cocoa Puffs. Yeah, my wife, she's a stupid bitch, and whatever. Like, he would say like the most horrific shit and then just like laugh at it. You know? I will tell you a Mike Tyson story one time. Not now.
He puts it all on the line.
I'm working.
Saved over 4,000 kids from the worst evils our world won't look at. Next up, Russell Brunson. He's an author, an online marketing genius. Here's an example of one of his books. How to Make a Potato Gun was his earliest of a series of promotional home runs. His ClickFunnels app is wildly popular among multi-level marketers who push their internet sales.
Well, I gotta say, How to Make a Potato Gun, I mean, who knew? Who knew that this skill would propel you into the publishing world? A series of promotional home runs. Potato gun. Go figure.
Plus, his app is a pyramid venture where users can market ClickFunnels itself. Brunson uses his fame and fortune to promote Mormonism and the Book of Mormon. He issues a Book of Mormon challenge. He urges his followers to read the Book of Mormon and pray to get a witness of its truthfulness. Recently, he said, I spent a small fortune and purchased one of the original 5,000 copies of the Book of Mormon that Joseph Smith originally printed.
All right. Well, I got to tell you, that is part 6. All right. So we're going to have to see you next time for part 7. All right. You can see here, we're going to leave off on the Mormon challenge. And we are going to get into this another time. I want to thank everybody for coming out here today. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you want to leave us a tip at the door, make sure you hit that Cash App, the PayPal, or the Patreon. We're working here. We're working over here. All right. So I'd much rather have you share the videos and tell the stuff to the people and share. I would rather have a share than any dough. So share. All right. That's what you could do. You want to help this page, you effing share it. All right. And if you're not going to share it, then pay me. All right. Either or. You either share or you pay. I think that's pretty reasonable. Okay. I want everybody to have a fantastic day, and I'm going to see you for part 7 before you know it. We'll see you next time. Full send.
The truth set you free. In an age of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act.
I want to thank everybody for coming out today once again. We cannot do this without you, so thank you for joining us. And by us, I mean me. Always great to have you guys, no matter where you are in the world. That's why I like to say from the pineapple to the big apple, from Maine to Spain. I like people from everywhere. 1, 2, 3. I wrote that. Thank you. I know it's good. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time. Full send.